The rain hits the window like 1,000 small fingers asking permission. The city hums its perpetual lullaby of engines and distant voices. And there, in the corner of a room that suddenly feels too large or too small, sadness settles like an uninvited guest who knows all your secrets. It doesn't announce itself with trumpets. Sadness arrives like fog, slowly erasing the edges of things you thought were solid. The laughter you heard yesterday sounds like it happened in another lifetime. The plans you made feel like they were written by someone else, a stranger wearing your face. This is not a story about defeating sadness. This is not a manual for erasing what hurts. This is something older and more honest. A set of words that Buddhist masters have whispered across centuries, words that don't promise to make the ache disappear but teach you how to breathe while it's there. Words that turn sadness from an enemy into a teacher, from a wall into a door. The first truth they offer sounds almost cruel in its simplicity. This too shall pass. 4 words that hold the entire Dharma. 4 words that the mind rejects when the chest tightens and the eyes burn. But listen closer. This too shall pass is not a dismissal. It is not someone telling you to hurry up and feel better. It is the universe whispering its oldest secret. Everything that appears will disappear. Every cloud, every storm, every winter, and yes, every sorrow. The sadness you feel right now, the one that seems like it has built a permanent home in your ribcage, is already changing. Even as you sit with it, it is shifting, morphing, beginning its slow journey towards something else. Not because you are strong, not because you are weak, simply because that is the nature of all things. Impermanence is not punishment, it is mercy. Think of a river. You stand on its bank and watch the water flow. Dark water, murky water, water carrying debris and broken things. It hurts to watch it, but you do not jump in. Trying to stop it, you do not build a dam with your bare hands. You understand, even through the pain, that this dark water will pass, and behind it, different water comes, and behind that, different still. Your sadness is that river. Let it flow. The second teaching arrives wrapped in paradox. You are not your sadness. Sit with that. Roll it around in your mind like a smooth stone. You are not your sadness. The mind will argue. It will say, "But I feel sad, therefore I am sad." The Buddhist wisdom answers with surgical precision. You are the sky. Sadness is weather. The sky does not become the storm. It holds the storm. It gives the storm space to rage and thunder and eventually exhaust itself. But when the storm passes, the sky remains unchanged, vast, capable of holding the next weather, whatever it may be. You are that sky. The awareness that watches the sadness, the consciousness that notices the heaviness, the tiredness, the ache. That noticing, that awareness is not touched by what it observes. It remains clear, open, patient. This is not philosophy. This is survival technique. When sadness tells you, this is who you are now, you answer with the oldest rebellion. No, this is what I feel. I am what feels. That distance, small as a breath, changes everything. The third word they offer is the hardest. Welcome. Not welcome as in celebration. Welcome as in, you may enter. You have permission to be here. Sadness knocks and the instinct screams to bolt the door, to pretend no one is home, to blast music and scroll screens and do anything to avoid opening up. But every door you lock from the inside becomes a prison. The monk opens the door, not with resignation, but with dignity. Ah, sadness, I see you. Come in, sit. I will not serve you the good tea, but I will not pretend you are not here. This welcoming is not weakness. It is the opposite. It is the strength of someone who knows that what you resist persists, what you welcome transforms. Sadness welcomed loses its sharp edges. It stops being the monster under the bed and becomes just another visitor in the house of your heart. A difficult visitor, yes, one who brings no gifts, but a visitor nonetheless, one who will eventually leave. Try it now. Feel the sadness wherever it lives in your body. The throat, the chest, the belly. And instead of clenching against it, breathe into it. Say inwardly, you are loud, you are not wrong, you are here. Watch what happens. Not magic, not instant relief, but a subtle softening. The war ends, the resistance drops. And in that space, something gentler can begin. The fourth teaching is practical, almost mundane. Sadness is not the enemy. Loneliness is. Sadness shared cuts its weight in half. Sadness hidden doubles. The Buddha sat under the Bodhi tree and achieved enlightenment alone. But he spent the next 45 years walking dusty roads, gathering a sangha, building community. Even the awakened one knew that the path is walked together. When sadness comes, the modern reflex is to hide, to curate a life online that shows only the polished surfaces, to answer "I'm fine" when someone asks how you are, even when your soul is screaming. The Buddhist response is radically different. Find one person, one, not 10, not a crowd, one human being who has earned your trust, and with them, you practice the bravest act. You tell the truth. I am sad. I don't know why. Or I know exactly why, and it doesn't help. I am sad and I needed to say it out loud. That utterance, that small crack in the armor, lets light in. The person listening may not have answers. They probably don't. But their presence, their willingness to sit with your pain without trying to fix it, is medicine older than any pharmacy. In the city, find your sangha. It might be a friend who brings soup without being asked. It might be a therapist who holds space for your unraveling. It might be a support group in a church basement or a voice on the other end of a crisis line. It doesn't matter. What matters is you do not carry this alone. Isolation is sadness's best friend. Community is its natural predator. The fifth word is the most misunderstood. Acceptance. Not acceptance as giving up. Acceptance as giving in to what is real. The mind spins stories. I shouldn't feel this way. Other people have it worse. I have no right to be sad. I should be stronger, better, different. Each should is a small knife that cuts deeper than the original wound. Acceptance says, this is true right now. I am sad right now. And that is okay. Not okay as in good. Okay as in, this is the weather today. You would not stand in the rain shouting at the clouds to stop. You would not feel guilt for the rain's existence. You would open an umbrella. You would wait. Treat your sadness with the same clear-eyed practicality. It is raining inside you. No amount of self-criticism will change that. Acceptance is the umbrella. It does not stop the rain. It lets you stand in it without drowning. The Zen masters have a phrase for this: falling down 7 times, standing up 8. They do not say, never fall. They do not say, transcend falling. They say the quiet part out loud. You will fall. The practice is the standing. You will be sad. Perhaps many times. Perhaps for reasons you understand and reasons you don't. The practice is not to avoid it. The practice is to meet it with as much grace as you can muster, and on the days grace fails, with simple endurance. The sixth teaching comes as ritual, because words alone sometimes are not enough. The body needs its own language. Light a candle. Any candle. Even the half-burned stub forgotten in a drawer. Light it in a dark room and watch the flame. Just watch. The flame does not fight the darkness, it simply is. Small, vulnerable, surrounded by shadow, and yet undeniably present. That flame is not trying to illuminate the whole room. It lights only what it can, its own small circle. You are that flame. Your sadness is the darkness that surrounds, and your practice is not to banish all shadow. It is to keep your flame alive, to protect it from winds that would snuff it out. Feed it. Rest when you are tired. Eat when you are hungry. Move your body even when it feels like it weighs more than stone. Drink water. Stand in sunlight for 3 minutes. These are not small things. These are how you keep the flame burning. The candle burns down. It does not last forever. Neither does your sadness. But while both are here, they can coexist. Light and shadow breathing together. The seventh word is the most overlooked. Gratitude. And yes, the mind rebels. Grateful now, when everything hurts? Not grateful for the sadness, grateful in spite of it, grateful alongside it. This is Zen alchemy. In the midst of sorrow, find 3 things, 3 tiny things that did not break. The friend who texted, the tea that was warm, the bird that sang outside the window as if your heart was not heavy. This practice does not erase the sadness, it prevents the sadness from erasing everything else. It draws a small line in the sand that says, "This far and no further. You may take my joy, but you will not take my eyes. I will still see what remains." Gratitude in hard times is not toxic positivity, it is defiance. It is the soul saying, "I am bruised, but I am not beaten. I can still notice beauty even if I cannot feel it fully." Write them down. 3 things, every night, even on the nights when finding 3 feels like lifting mountains, especially on those nights. The 8th teaching is permission. Permission to be exactly where you are. Permission to not be okay. Permission to not know when it will get better. Modern life is obsessed with productivity, with optimization, with the next level. Sadness does not care about your to-do list. It arrives and demands you slow down. Stop, sit, let it. Grant yourself the permission to pause. To cancel plans. To say no. To move through your days at half speed, if that is what your body and mind require. This is not laziness. This is survival. This is honoring the rhythms of your inner life instead of only the demands of the outer world. The Buddhists call it right effort, not maximum effort, right effort, effort appropriate to the moment. When you are sad, right effort might mean getting out of bed, brushing your teeth, stepping outside for 5 minutes. That is enough. You are enough, even in this diminished state, even moving slow, even unsure of tomorrow. The 9th word circles back to the beginning, but from a different angle. Breath. The breath is always with you, always returning, always available. When sadness tightens its grip, when thoughts spiral, when the future looks bleak and the past haunts, return to the breath. Not elaborate breathing techniques, just this. Inhale, know you are inhaling. Exhale, know you are exhaling. 3 breaths, anytime, anywhere, in the bathroom at work, in your parked car, in bed at 3 in the morning. 3 conscious breaths are a life raft in the storm. The breath does not judge. It does not ask why you are sad. It simply says, you are alive. You are here. 1 more inhale, 1 more exhale. That is the monastery you carry everywhere, not built of stone, but of air. And in that monastery, even for 30 seconds, you remember what the sadness temporarily obscures. You are still breathing. The story is not over. The 10th and final teaching is the one written on monastery walls, stitched into prayer flags, whispered by masters to students across centuries. This moment is not your whole life. Sadness has a strange gravity. It pulls all time into now. The past becomes proof that things have always been hard. The future becomes certainty that they always will be. Both are lies. This moment, this sadness, is one chapter in a book still being written. Chapters change, the tone shifts, characters arrive, new. Landscapes appear. You have survived every difficult moment in your life so far. 100% success rate. The fact that you are reading these words, breathing these breaths, means you made it through. Every single time, you will make it through this too. Not because you are special, not because the universe owes you, but because that is what humans do. We endure, we adapt, we find ways forward even when the path is invisible. The sadness will pass, and when it does, you will be someone slightly different, not broken, refined. Like silver passed through fire, emerging with a new shine. The sadness will have taught you about your own depths, your capacity to feel, your resilience. That learning comes at a cost, but it comes. So when the sadness visits, when it wraps its heavy cloak around your shoulders, remember these words. Remember you are the sky, not the weather. Remember to open the door. Remember you are not alone. Remember to light the candle, to breathe, to find 3 things to grant yourself permission. Remember that this moment is not forever. And remember, somewhere in the city, a monk once sat exactly where you sit now, feeling exactly what you feel now, and found a way through. Not around, not over, through. The path is walked by walking. The sadness is felt by feeling. And on the other side, which you cannot see but which is there, the sun is already rising. If these words served you, share them with someone who might need them. And subscribe to Walk This Path Together, to remember that in the city's noise, in the heart's storms, there are words that steady, breath that saves, and light that endures. Now close your eyes. Place one hand on your heart, feel it beating. That beat says one thing over and over, still here, still here, still here. And that is enough.